What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to another episode of Ben Builds. We're here with the Ventura. This is episode number 10. We are going to push forward today, guys, on the rest of the paint. Now, last episode, we went ahead and overcoated the entire aircraft in a nice NATO black for primer. Then we took some red brown. We traced out some of the panel lines. We did some shading here and there. I think it's ready to go ahead and move on to the top coat. Now, the top coat has two different blues. We have this kind of intermediate medium blue on the sides of the fuselage. Then we have the top of it being a sea blue, kind of a dark sea blue. So we have a lot of work to do because we have to actually mask off the line between the white and the intermediate blue on the side of the fuselage. So we have to have this kind of really cool swooping line that kind of comes back and then just dives off here at the back of the tail. That should be decent enough to do, but we will need to go ahead and do a little clever masking. Also here on the engines as well, they start here with kind of a demarcation line that runs along the side of the engine nacelle. And as it approaches the exhaust stack here, it abruptly turns up and meets that top of the wing. Then the rest of it is going to be just kind of a dark sea blue, and we have a lot of work to do with that. So we're going to start off here by masking off all of the white undercoat. I want to make sure we don't just spray the crap out of that. We want to make sure we don't have any overspray. I want it to be clean and crisp. Very, very nice here. So what I'm going to use is some basic blue painter's tape. We're just going to go ahead and cover over the wings, the fuselage, and the tail. Then we're going to take some tape. We're going to go ahead and cut it with our X-Acto knife into a really nice curve. And we're going to use that for the sides of the aircraft. All right, everybody, so we have finished off all the basic masking for the white undercoat. We're going to move on to the top here. We're going to start off with a marbling coat, and we're going to use this kind of a lighter sky blue. We're going to use this for all of the panel lines. We're going to trace those. We're then going to come in and do a little bit of shading here and there with that to give it a little bit of contrast. We're going to take our lighter blue, we're going to mix it up with a little bit of white, and then we're going to come back and we're going to overcoat the entire side of the aircraft with that intermediate medium blue. So I think this is going to be really awesome. Fingers crossed this goes over well. We've got this thin. We're ready to drop it into the airbrush. And then we'll go ahead and paint everything. And we'll see you back when we're done. Fingers crossed. Let's get it done. I think that looks pretty neat. We have just the basic little bits and pieces here kind of showing through. The lighter blue, we did a marble coat over the entire thing. We've kind of highlighted here and there, and I think honestly, it looks pretty sweet. So now we have to go ahead and continue with the masking here because we have a little bit more to go ahead and paint. Now, I want to go ahead and make a nice clean demarcation line between the dark sea blue and then the medium blue on the side. I don't know if this would be this hard-edged in the field, but I think we're going to be okay if we go ahead and make it that, because all the references show that kind of very hard-edged. All right, we have everything masked off for our sea blue, and again, I wanted a nice clean line because that's what my references show. I know I could have probably done this freehand, but again, it wouldn't have been as clean, wouldn't have been as neat. I think this is the way to go. Just use a little bit of this blue tack tape, and we should be perfect with that. I want to make sure that the front nose is angled just about the same on each side. So I'm just making sure that is going to be the same. Looks pretty decent to me. And the sides look good. I think we are ready to go ahead and start painting. Looking pretty decent. Now we also have to mask off the engines. Just the very top of the engine and the top of the wings are going to be the darker sea blue. The sides of the engines, just like the sides of the fuselage, are going to remain that intermediate medium blue. So we're going to go ahead and just mask that off and make sure that everything is nice and clean. I'm going to go a little bit over onto where the sea blue would have been, and I'm going to slice it off with my hobby knife just to give it a nice clean line. So you can see here, this is what we come up with. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. We should be more or less ready to go ahead and to mix up a little bit of sea blue. I'm going to mix a little bit of white in it, and I'm also going to mix a little bit of the medium blue that we use on the side of the aircraft. I'm going to mix that in there just to kind of tie everything together. I think that should be a decent way to go. So first up, guys, let's go ahead and grab our Tamiya Sea Blue, and we're going to run it right through the airbrush. We're going to go ahead and pre-shade all of our panel lines and get everything kind of squared away. Then we're going to come back, we're going to grab some of the sea blue, we're going to mix it up with a little bit of medium blue and a little bit of white. That should make a nice blending color. We're going to highly dilute it, then we'll lay it down and see what we come up with. All right, everybody, we are done with the painting for today. Let's go ahead and pull off all of the tape so we can see how our different color lines actually worked out. All right, here we are. The Ventura is now unmasked. And as you can see, we have three very distinct colors. We have our dark sea blue on top, we have our intermediate medium blue on the side, and then we have our white nose cone, and we have our white undersurface there of the aircraft. I think this looks awesome. So I think next episode we're going to come on back, and I want to go ahead and use a little bit of that dark sea blue to trace some of the panel lines on the sides of the aircraft. I think that'll give it a nice little bit of contrast, and we'll just blend everything together. I think we're good to go. So tune in next time, guys, and until then, you know the drill. Get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we will see you back here on the next episode of Ben Builds. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon.